Almost everyone spends at least 12 years of their lives going through school. Some go further into college to pursue a further career.
But there are some classes within the first 12 years that people find useless, being the arts. So why the arts? Why make these useless classes a requirement for graduation?
Barry and I went to the teachers of the arts, including some tech credits that we found fitting to be considered an arts class, to ask them what their thoughts on what their classes add to the students' curriculum. First we go to Mrs. Richardson, the arts teacher of WDHS. Here's what she had to say.
You're learning. You're constantly learning. Part of the reason why I chose to become a teacher and teach art is because I had a passion for it. So I knew that I'd be able to share my energy with everyone and not be shy about it. Because believe it or not, even though I'm a school teacher, you think that I like to be in the light of things and I want to be the center of attention. I don't want to be. I chose being an art teacher because I wanted to be able to help other people who were kind of shy like me in a way that they could become more involved. So to me, a class like this, like having an art class like this, is having the capability of learning stuff, but not really realizing that you're learning stuff and making it fun. So a club is kind of like, you meet your friends and you have meetings, you do some community service and you do some art, and it's kind of over. When you're in a classroom and you're teaching, it's all the time. You're constantly teaching something, you're constantly learning something, and that information carries over into your everyday life. You meet friends and you meet new friends, you meet more friends, you meet new friends. And yeah, that happens at a club, but it's just much more on a higher level. It's a program that is important. It's a program that I think touches the lives of everyone, no matter where they are. You don't really have to be able to draw to be in this class. You really don't have to be able to sculpt when you're in this class. That question is kind of awkward in a sense, because when students come in, they select my class. So for me, no matter whether you're 9th or 12th or 11th or 10th or short or tall or thick or thin or whatever your beliefs are, you're in here to do the same thing, and try to get a good picture as to, can I do this? The majority of the students that come in here have the same thing in mind. Some of them say, oh, I doodle on the side, so I thought this class would be fun. Or some of the students will say, I just took this class because they made me. For me, the challenge is getting, no matter who you are, to be able to do work that's like this. This is the kind of work that is the beginning stages. And then the magic of that is, can we take a little walk? So these are all students that come from different backgrounds, that are in different classrooms, and they all have the same thing in mind. They all say the same thing. I can't do, or there's no way I can do this. All I can do is chicken scratch and all the rest of it. So to go from the round ball that I just showed you and to be able to do this assignment, they're overwhelmed. They're so pleased with themselves, they can't believe it. And most of them will say the same thing, that I didn't know I had talent. So I guess for me, it doesn't matter what kind of student comes into the classroom. For me, the joy is watching the looks on their faces and being able to see that they can do work like this. It's fantastic. Well, everything that we do in this classroom involves evaluation. So in everything that you do, you're always looking at something in the eyes of someone who has questions. You have to be able to answer those questions. So for example, someone might be trying to do something, design in their room, and they have to figure out, what colors am I going to use, where am I going to place them. If they're doing something that's outside the box, like going for a job interview and they're trying to remember certain things, believe it or not, art helps you to remember visually information. So when I teach about art, I teach the fact that it's not about the paintbrush, it's not about the pencil, it's about remembering visually how to learn, but with fun. I mean, that's basically why I chose art. So the kids are taking information that they've learned how to remember, how to evaluate, how to critique work, and bringing that into everyday life. That's a tough one. There's so many things I'm going to miss. The energy. Like, I feel like when I wake up at 5:30 in the morning and I'm getting in my car to drive here, my car is like on auto, and it automatically comes to this place. And when I get here, the day goes by so really quickly because I feel like I'm moving like 100 miles an hour. But to come in and to see the looks on people's faces, the students, they're smiling at me, they are saying good morning. One of the habits that I have is making sure that the students, when they come in, say good morning. And I say that's me greeting them, and that's them greeting me. And I'll miss that. I will miss giving advice to students. Again, I will miss the joys of what the students are doing with the artwork, with their progress. I'll miss, I guess, all the different things that I used to do while I was here. The activities, the spirit, the pride, the passion. But along with that, I'll miss the struggles, I'll miss the conversations. You know, students would come in and talk to me about their problems, and, you know, I would try to give them support and try to help them. It wasn't just about the art. It wasn't just about the books or the studying. It was about life. It was about family. It was about, I think I spent more time here than I spent with my own family. So I'm going to miss that. But I'm ready for a new adventure, because that's what it's been. It's been an adventure. The adventure went really quick. I can't believe it's 31 years for me. But I'm ready for a new adventure and ready to maybe branch out and help another new family. I think it's time.
Next, we went to Mr. Yerkes, the choir teacher.
Well, when we think about what the graduation requirements are, there are things that teach lifelong skills, or skills that inspire students to continue what they learn in their school years. And so, for instance, a student who appreciates working with numbers and likes to work with math discovers that in their years in school, and they'll pursue math, and they'll pursue doing something for the rest of their life, perhaps like accounting or something that requires doing a lot of math and using numbers. If a person is not exposed in any way to the arts, they never know whether it's a talent that they have and or if it's a passion that they want to pursue later in life. We know that things like math and reading utilize one part of the brain, where the arts utilize another part of the brain, and so it's an opportunity to tap into a part of the brain that perhaps you wouldn't tap into if you didn't have something like the arts as a requirement. Similar to what I previously stated about having a requirement, it's an opportunity for students to explore a part of themselves that they can't explore any other way. Music is something that's very internal. It's something that we can all have an appreciation for. And if we take choral music, for instance, the voice is an instrument that everyone has. And without the opportunity to explore the voice and see what your voice can do through music, you would never know if either that was a talent that you would have, an internal talent, God-given talent and ability that you have, or even if it's something that you might want to pursue as you move on. One of the cool things about music and the arts is that there's so many other things that you learn and you take from it that you don't even think about. You think about learning right notes and learning the correct rhythms and making sure that you have all of your music learned and ready for the concert, or if you're in an art class, you make sure that you have all of your artwork ready for the art show. What you're learning is discipline. You're learning how to be self-disciplined to make sure that you are performing your part of whatever it is you're doing, and everything that you're doing with your instrument is done 100%, and you know everything it is you need to know about your part in a song, or your part in a show, or your part in the art class, whatever the case might be. So we talked about discipline, organizational skills. Again, it's not, although many students do, particularly in the beginning, and you kind of have to stay after them, but you need to be prepared for it. Being prepared for class is just like being prepared for a rehearsal. And if you think about what professional musicians do, and people who are out there in the performing world, and even in my case that are teaching music, they're all people who've been disciplined enough to study their instrument and make sure that what they present themselves. What we do musically is something that truly comes from the heart. It comes from within. What I do as a musician with my instrument is totally different than something like, if I read someone else's work, say in a book, a piece of literature, I might be able to tell you how that literature is put together and what that literature means. But when I study music and when I perform something that is mine, that is using my instrument, it's very personal, and it's something that's very much about me and my abilities and what I contribute as an individual. Why the arts? It is such an integral part of our society and who we are. I don't think you could go a day without noticing music somewhere. Or if you're a person who just appreciates beauty, like the colors of the fall, or the magnificence of sitting on the beach and watching, the ocean come in and go out with the tide. It's all a part of art in some form, in that, people see that and they create it. They recreate it. And again, it's because of something that's inside of them that if you don't tap into and you don't explore it on your own, you never know what potential you have as an artist, whether it be through playing an instrument or singing using your God-given instrument, your voice, or through putting a paintbrush to a piece of canvas. It's something that is within you that unless you explore, you'll never give it the chance to come out and see what you're capable of.
Following Mr. Yerkes, we interviewed Mr. Kershaw, and here's the inspiring words he had to say.
Band is a class because our brain requires an arts education. All right, there's actually a part of the brain, and then that we need to develop and make sure we get the right connections in here to make us complete human beings. So we've known this for a long time. There's actually what we call multiple intelligences. There's math intelligence, there's linguistic intelligence, there's physical intelligence, and there's musical intelligence. It's one of our innate things that make us human. And so we require it so that, it starts all the way in elementary school, that there's a music class, and then it goes through middle school. The high school becomes an elective, so it's more compulsory in the elementary because that's when a lot of these connections are actually forming when you're young. All right, and so we hope that to stimulate that part of our brain so it actually develops equally with all the other areas. I think The music program in Westover High School offers students an outlet, a break from the day where it's pure enjoyment. You go from, if you think of your school journey from kindergarten to 12th grade, there's something we lose at the high school level. We don't have recess. All right? We have these wonderful things called study halls, but I don't know that that's the most productive use of time for some students. So the band students at Westover High School get to have an outlet in the middle of their day, during the day, where they can come express themselves musically, and then, just with their people who share the love of music making. Every day is about teamwork. Every day. There's not one day where it's only about me or just about that one student. Okay, we play as a class every day, and our job, all right, while we all have personal jobs depending, all right, I play trombone, I play flute, I play percussion, I play clarinet or saxophone, everyone has an individual job, but we all work together every day. So the sense of teamwork is always there, and it's teamwork combined with personal responsibility, right? Because they know that my job is to play my part to make the entire group sound complete. And I think that's a very unique aspect to what we do here. Well, this is the easiest one. And if you are reluctant, how do you know that you don't have a great talent in this area? Right? Music making should be a universal trait for all of us. There was a time in the world where music study and playing an instrument was, just common. Most people knew something of some sort. We've kind of let it, fall to the wayside in our schedule. All right, for other activities and other worthy activities. But music making for us should be a pursuit. Because the enjoyment of it, and if you've never tried it, you don't know what you're missing out on. And I mentioned this already, that if you think listening to music is enjoyable, all right, try making it. It's even more enjoyable, making your own music. An arts education provides the student the opportunity to experience the things around us in a very unique way. Arts education allows us to be expressive, and it allows us to put personal emotion into things. All right, we can't necessarily do that with a math equation or a science equation, or even in the written word in the same way that we could in creating a painting, performing music. There's an aesthetic beauty to what we get to create that goes beyond what we could describe in words. And we have a more fulfilled life when we understand the elements that it takes to create art and to create music and to create a performance. So that would be the number one thing I would say would be the value of an arts education. Okay. Here in our music room at Westover High School, the band program here offers a lot beyond music. There's a lot of skills and just life lessons we learn of being persistent, budgeting our time, just being able to take critique and criticism in a positive way to improve our performance, improve who we are. And then there's the other intangibles that are directly from music. It's a lot of fun to listen to music. It's a lot more fun to create it. And when you get to experience it, especially here at the high school level, you get even deeper understanding. So the band program has got multiple benefits to it.
The last of the defined arts teachers is Miss Lamelas, the graphics design and photography teacher.
Help students solve problems and come up with creative solutions. They help us think about ideas and problems in new ways. Wow, there's so much to learn in graphics class that it would be impossible to have it as an after-school club, or as only an after-school club. you have to learn about Photoshop and graphic design, and then apply it and practice it and perfect it. My classes give students the tools to apply their creativity to whatever they like, whether it's taking family photos or designing your graduation invitations. It can be used like on a daily basis. How to solve problems creatively and communicate your thoughts visually.
In short, the arts are a very broad subject that takes a lot of time to grow and perfect, a method which cannot be taught in an after-school club.
Art classes aren't just there for you to perfect and perform art. They're here to help you grow as a person while expressing yourself in a variety of different ways, such as through music, drawing, and singing.
So to answer the question, why the arts?
We have given you all the information we could. Now it's your turn to answer that question.